There's a line drive high and deep to left. It is gone! 3-run home run, Kyle Kubat. Fly ball to left, Sweeney hit well, and Charlie Capsella, what a play! Here's a line drive out to center field. It's a grand slam! Going back to Shaw, he is going to get there. What a catch! And he's going to hop over the fence while doing it. What a coming home is Morales to throw on a double up. Is it in time? It is in time! Here's a rocket, deep left field. Does this have a chance to go? It is gone! Go ahead, homer! Tyler Wiltsey on the first pitch. Play called for a back on the 14th, and there's number 100. Stephen Devaney with a line drive to left. He's 2 for 2. And with triple digits for number 1 as difference. And here's a ground ball shooting through the left side. And Kingsway has won the Ralph Shaw opener. Here we go. Fly ball deep left center field. And it is gone. Grand slam. Scott Lynch, grand slam. Is the man of the hour. There's a ground ball. That's going to go into center field. It's going to be picked up, and it's going to be booted. Here comes the runner to the plate, and Pittman has won it in extras. Walk-off single, Jude Engstrom. Bases loaded. 2 outs. Just like they drew it up in Hollywood. Caladros, the 3-2. Swinging on us! And the Audubon Green Wave have upset the Kingsway Dragons in the Ralph Shaw Classic.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to tape-delayed coverage of Tri-County Baseball here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. We're here from the Farwood Fields. The Russ Spicer Diamond is in front of us, but actually today we're going to be over here at the Haddonfield JV field for their high school team, but for the home of today's game between the Cherry Hill Third Base Ball Club and the Haddonfield Dawgs. I'm Dan Wilkins here with my graphics crew, Caleb Lane and Gavin Van Rel, and our producer, Vincent Vogt, as we've got ourselves a good game between 2 division rivals in the Tri-County Central Division. As we're going to have ourselves a game between 2 teams that are looking for different sorts of seeding in the playoff spot. As you can see, Haddonfield has been a bit of a wild card this season. They're 7-6. They've played all 13 of their games without having a consecutive win or consecutive loss. So every game that they've won, they've lost the one right after that. And every game that they've lost, they've won the game immediately after that. So it's really been an up and down season for the Dawgs, but things could really change as we go around the corner of the last week of the regular season into the playoffs, which start on July 19th for the record. As we go to the CHBR Ball Club, they're in a bit of a more stable spot. They'll be looking to clinch the division tonight if they can win the game, and if the Rough Riders, who are playing CHP at 7 o'clock in Pittman, if they lose and the CHBR club wins this game, then they win the TCBL Central Division and clinch one of the 4 bye spots in the playoffs, again starting on July 19th. So these 2 teams, they're both very good, and the times that they faced off against each other earlier this season was a 3-2 score in favor of the CHBR Ball Club. So for Bones Marciano and the CHBR team, they'll be looking for more than just 1 win tonight. They'll be looking for 2 wins in terms of the division win and the game win as well. Let's take a look at the starting lineups, as we're going to take a look here, starting with the visitors in the Haddonfield Dawgs Club, coached by John Tedeschi. We've got Dustin Bellis leading off at the DH spot and starting on the mound. Batting second is going to be AJ Tropiano in center field. Batting third will be Nick Turnage, the extra hitter. Batting fourth will be Brandon Hartman, the first baseman. Batting fifth will be Chris Bonifiglia in right field. Batting sixth will be John Tedeschi, the second baseman. Batting seventh will be Luca Marinucci, the third baseman. Batting eighth will be Justin Figueroa, the catcher. And then after that, Scott DeGirolamo, the shortstop, and then Joey Tedeschi, the left fielder, batting in the final position. For the home side, CHBR club, we've got Sean Sesdowicki, the shortstop, batting leadoff. Bobby Woodward is the DH, batting second. Justin Sesdowicki is going to be the right fielder, batting third. Julian Costa is the first baseman, batting cleanup. Rob Schweitzer is the left fielder, batting fifth. Ryan Dipper is the DH, batting sixth. Frankie Ebling, the two-way player, is going to be batting batting at third base and playing in the 7th position. Elias Filiposian is going to be the extra hitter batting in the 8th spot. Aiden Huey is the center fielder batting 9th, and Colin Kind is the catcher. Jared Vanderstuer of Pennsville Memorial High School, he will be on the mound with a couple other relief pitchers that could be joining us tonight. But let's get on to the festivities as we've got Haddonfield and CHBR coming up. Jared Vanderstuer, the first pitch, is going to be downstairs for a ball. See, I was looking right up there and I didn't even realize that we were just about to start. That's 2 for 2. Gotten very close to missing the first pitch of the ball game, but here we go, 1-0. Foul tip looks like, 1-1. Swing and a miss. 1-2. To Bellis, who's batting 177 in his season here for the Bulldogs. Vanderstuer, the 1-2. To the freshman who's about to be a sophomore at Rutgers Camden with the Scarlet Raptors. Wind picked up the camera a little bit there. 2-2. Swing and a foul tip. So yeah, the first 3 for Haddonfield being Bellis, Tropiano, and Nick Turnage, who just now recently graduated from Haddonfield Memorial High School. He was a star player on their high school varsity team, batted around the middle of the order. Was overall a very good role player on that ball club. 2-2, going to be breaking ball that misses in. So again, sincere apologies to everybody that wanted to watch the game live, but the service is just so bad out here in Haddonfield, can't really do anything about it. So Bellis will walk, and that's how we start the ball game this evening. Worked the count full and was just able to get himself in a good position. As a pinch runner for Bellis, and here is AJ Tropiano. Just adjusting the camera here, making some preliminary adjustments as we are getting started a little bit behind schedule, but didn't really have time for a proper pregame, so apologies for that. But we got all of our talking points in. We got all of our points that we wanted to say, so still ends up working out in the end. Fouled back. So Tropiano, the center fielder, with a runner on first for Haddonfield. Nobody out is Vanderstuer. Getting settled in here for CHBR. Of course, CHBR, the short-term phrase for Cherry Hill Babe Ruth / third base trophies, which sponsors the team. So Tropiano down on strikes, and now Nick Turnage, the DH, will bat. That one misses down and away. After this would be the first baseman, Brandon Hartman. It's from Vanderstuer, up and in. You're watching coverage of Tri-County Baseball here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. If you have any questions or comments about today's broadcast, drop me a line at thedanwilkinsshow@gmail.com. And the pitch from Vanderstuer, runners going. Here comes the throw, and it is not in time. He got around the tag. Close call, but that's going to put the runner in scoring position here for Haddonfield. Last time we did a TCBL game was last Wednesday versus the Gartons of Vineland and the CHP Ball Club. And that was a 2-1 score in favor of the CHP, and that's going to be another walk. So Vanderster, with a rather double-edged sword in terms of how he's approached the first 3 batters, a walk, a strikeout, and another walk, puts Haddonfield in a prime scoring position here for Brandon Hartman, the first baseman here for the Dawgs. And of course, our next coverage of TCBL play, the last one that we'll have in the regular season, will be the Rough Riders and the Camden Ball Club on Friday, July 14th, from the home of Rutgers, Camden. That'll be a 6 o'clock game. It's the first game of a doubleheader, but we'll just be covering the first game instead of covering both games, just for logistical purposes. So runners on first and second, and the pitch inside to Hartman. A good angle here out in center field. We have our backs facing the Russ Spicer diamond, which of course a great facility in and of itself, but it is definitely different, you know, broadcasting from the other Haddonfield facility. With a runner going, both are on the move, and the throw down to second is not go. He got him. So there you go. That'll be 2. So Turnage tried to get a little too fancy with it, and that's going to just leave the runner on third, and 2 outs now. I get that you're trying to advance the base runners early and, you know, get yourself a head start, but you already had runners on first and second. But that's going to be the 3rd walk that Vanderster has issued here in the first inning, and I think his catcher is going to go talk it out with him, Colin Kine. But I mean, it's a little bit concerning. But you've got your other out by a pretty commanding strikeout of Tropiano, and then you already got the second out on the caught stealing. So we'll see what the Dawgs can stir up here with their 5th batter of the inning, Chris Bonifiglia, the right fielder. And then John Tedeschi will be next. That one is a strike, 0-1. Here comes another throw down to second, and it is not in time. Haddonfield getting really aggressive on the stolen bases. They've already got a couple this inning, and that's going to put runners on second and third here with a 1-1 count to Bonifiglia. All right, it's all good. No, it's good. Don't worry about it. Here's pitch. Just clipped the edge of the strike zone, and that's going to make it 1-2. I have to imagine, at least for the center fielder's sake, you're playing decently shallow with with how close the fence is. You know, this is meant for high school junior varsity, so we could see some homers. The Rough Riders, who used to play at the Russ Spicer Diamond for a good 30 years or so, they are now playing over at the Ricino facilities in Haddon Township. So this field is usually more of like a reserve field. It still gets the job done though. Still has the bases, still's got the pitcher's mound. And you never know. I mean, Pennsville is a really nice home facility for their high school, so it could very well be the case that the reason why Vanderster has taken a while to adjust is that he's probably not used to the more wonky pitching mound. You know, it's not concrete depending on where you go. The height can be different. You know, the way it feels could be very different. So, you know, that all translates into how you throw the ball. So, you know, if you keep having your foot slip off the mound, your pitch release is going to be way off, and it's going to make the batter feel definitely nervous about getting drilled in the noggin. But you never know. I mean, it really just depends on who's there at what time and where you're playing. But Vanderster gets out of the jam despite allowing 3 walks. We go to the bottom of the first, no score, with CHBR third base getting their first chance to bat here in Tri-County action from Farwood Field. We'll be right back. From the Farwood Fields, you're watching tape-delayed coverage of Tri-County baseball here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting between the Haddonfield Dawgs and the CHBR Third Base Club as the first pitch is outside. From Dustin Bellis, the incoming sophomore at Rutgers Camden, and also the son of Steve Bellis, the voice of Audubon baseball in their public address system. So, you know, got a good connection there with the local community. But like we said, beautiful day, although a lot hot, very hot from what I was expecting. But here's a fly ball deep to right center, and it is gone. Leadoff homer. And that's the way you start the game, and CHBR gets the ball rolling first with a long ball off the bat of Sean Sesdowicki, and it's 1-0 CHBR. See, I wasn't prepared to make a good home run call on that because it just happened so fast. Drilled it to right center field, and he's greeted in the dugout as it is a long ball for the third base club. As now Bobby Woodward, the DH, coming up here for CHBR. I was talking with Bones Marciano, who is the son of the current commissioner, Angelo Marciano, and you know, this team has really been the unsung hero, the surprise of the Tri-County League this year. They're 12-5, and like we said, if the Rough Riders lose tonight and if CHBR wins today, which they're already getting a good start on it in the first inning, but if both of those scenarios happen, we're going to have the CHBR club officially win the Central Division. You've got Pine Barrens, the leader in the TCBL North, and then the Gardens of Vineland leading pretty comfortably in the South Division. So, but it's the last full week of regular season play here in the Tri-County League. Playoffs start the day after the regular season games end on July 19th. I mean, this game isn't. Not to cheapen that home run a bit, but it does seem like the fences are pretty shallow for what we're used to. I mean, Folke Field, you don't see a huge amount of home runs hit at that field, which is where we would have been. But there was some bad rain last night. Not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I thought the streets were going to flood, and I thought we were going to see, like, you know, a Final Destination tsunami or something like that. But there's a high drive to right, and it is. Did he get that? No, he didn't. No, he didn't. That's a fair ball. Nobody called it. Going down to second base, that throw is going to be a bit awry, and it's going to be a very unusual double. I can't say I've seen that before, but Woodward gets a double. That was That was weird. I have no other explanation for that other than that was quite weird. So, I don't know. Here's the other Sesdowicki, the number 3 hitter here for CHBR, being Justin Sesdowicki. First pitch is going to be a strike. So runner on second for CHBR. That one got him. So hit by pitch to Justin Sesdowicki. This game's moving quite quickly and quite intensively so far. Had the home run to lead off the bottom of the first, a double, and then a hit by pitch. So here's Julian Costa, the first baseman. But yeah, to anybody who was watching after the game, apologies that we couldn't get the live stream going. I looked at we have a something called a Verizon Jetpack, which basically is our portable Wi-Fi. But what is a common misconception about the Verizon Jetpack or any sort of portable Wi-Fi is that it doesn't generate Wi-Fi. You know, it only let's say for lack of a better term, it uses the Wi-Fi around you to create a signal and create a Wi-Fi network. Because without building a cell tower, you can't create Wi-Fi. To explain that to the people that I've had to explain that to many times before. But by the way, on the wild pitch, both runners moved up. So runners on second and third for CHBR with the lefty Costa. But I mean, there's no other way to explain it other than if there's a bad cell service area, there's nothing I can really do. Same thing with Rutgers Camden, same thing with a lot of places when you're in the Pine Barrens and the thick of the woods in Jersey. If there's bad cell service, no powerful laptop or no supercomputer or super Wi-Fi, sort of machine can make it better. That's just how it is. So unless anybody knows of a solution that works in areas like this where it's basically the middle of nowhere. Although Haddonfield, it's not that Haddonfield is the middle of nowhere. It's a beautiful part of the Philly metro suburbia. It's just a matter of the fact that it's just a bad cell service area. All the houses are a little bit older, and there's not really that kind of infrastructure. But a base hit to center field is going to bring home 1, and it's going to bring home 2 as the ball ricochets off the back mat behind home plate, and a 2-run single off the bat of CHBR's first baseman Julian Costa makes it 3-0 CHBR. So this will bring up Schweitzer now. First pitch from Bellis is going to miss outside, 1-0. That one is ripped to right. That's going to be a base hit. And that'll move everybody up. So runners on first and second for CHBR. They are having one heck of an inning to start this ball game. But now it's going to bring up the number 6 hitter, Ryan Dipper. That one hit him. Bases loaded. Could be a real breakout inning here that Haddonfield may struggle to recover from if they can't, get the wheels back on the wagon, because this is, the infield's going to meet here, and I think that's par for the course, because you've got 3 runs already allowed, and I don't even think anybody's out, no. So this could get out of hand if not corralled and, kind of brought in. So hopefully they go over some strategy. If I were Haddonfield, I'd play the infield in. I know that's a bit of a wacky strategy, but what you want to get is the easiest out possible. And if there's a ground ball hit to you, what you want to do is throw the ball to home plate. Because the catcher gets it, that's one out, everybody stays with the bases loaded, but it makes it a lot easier. And with one out, you can, you know, maybe play the strategy a little bit different, go for a double play up the middle. But, you know, right now, what you're looking for, instead of multiple outs at a time, go for one at a time. Just try to handle the situation the best you can so that it doesn't get too far out of hand. And we've seen some out of hand games before, not just in this league, but also, you know, in high school as well. And a lot of it's just because as soon as one team gets rolling, they just can't stop. They're on this, you know, momentum track that just keeps on going and going and going. And it really is hard to stop an oncoming train, you know? So that's a foul ball. Should be 2-1 to Ebling, third baseman, as Dipper got hit by a pitch. Seventh batter of the inning for CHBR. And as we said, CHBR has been, you know, the surprise of the season. They don't offer a Manager of the Year award, but Bones Marciano would probably be a top candidate if such an award existed. You know, it's you know, CHBR, they've been around 19 years. Next year will be their 20th anniversary in 2024. But I thought that was thunder for a second. I looked over. It was no, it's just a nice old passenger jet. But here's a ground ball. That's going to go into left field. That is a base hit. That's going to bring home one, and everybody will go around the path again, moving up 90 feet, and that'll make it 4-0 CHBR. So here is batter number 8 as Bellis continues to struggle a little bit here with Elias Filiposian. He'll be followed by Aiden Huey and Colin Kine to round out the order. That one missed, 1-0. Finally, sun getting covered by some clouds here as we hit 6:30 p.m. It's a hot one, 84 degrees, but the actual real feel is 88 with very little wind blowing west to northwest, which is actually blowing in from center field, even though we had that leadoff home run from Sesdewicki. So 88 is the real feel, and 8:30 is going to be the sunset. So these guys basically have 2 hours to play 7 innings, but I mean, hey, a lot of the fields don't have lights, so the only difference is that, you know, this is somewhat of a neutral site game because Haddonfield plays their games here, right? But and the Rough Riders are over at Ricino, but they're actually going to be playing at 7 o'clock tonight versus CHP. So that will walk in a run and make it 5-0 CHBR. Already a chaotic first inning as they have nearly batted around, and Filiposian adds the cherry on top as Aiden Huey, the center fielder, is going to bat here versus Bellis. They already have Haddonfield already has a arm warming up in the bullpen. That's number 29, Jack Submarinian of Haddonfield Memorial High School. As there's a strike. There's another strike. That one's hit out towards shallow left and going in and making the play out and left. Oh, what a throw to the plate. That was right on the money. Making sure that runner on third did not tag. Made sure Dipper held up, but great catch out there by Joey Tedeschi. And this is going to bring up the number 9 hitter of the inning, Aiden Huey, or excuse me, no, Colin Kine, who is the 10th batter of the inning. So these guys have basically batted around officially, and there's still only 1 out. There's a strike. But honestly, I wouldn't look at the scoreboard right now and think that this game is over. You saw how easily the ball flew out of the yard with Sesdewicki. This could easily be a slugfest if, you know, everybody plays their cards right. You get a couple deep fly balls that wouldn't be home runs at Folke Field, and instead would be long balls here instead. So here's a fly ball out to straightaway right field, and that will be the second out. Dipper tagging from third. The throw to the plate is going to be offline, and it will go up the third base line. They're going to throw it to second, and nothing's going to go. So the sacrifice fly makes it 6-0 CHBR, but does record the second out of the first. So now we'll go back to the top of the order with Sean Sesdewicki, the same man who had a solo home run out to right earlier in the inning. So we'll see what he can cook up here with runners on second and third. First pitch is a strike. That one goes to the backstop. Everybody holds. Two and one count, as you could hear pretty clearly there. Yeah, as we said earlier in the broadcast, this was supposed to be held at Folk Field in Cherry Hill, but because of the rain last night, honestly, I thought the rain was going to be worse, but still it was bad enough to where the field was in pretty poor condition, so they moved the game here. Still had it for its scheduled 6:10 time, but just changed the venue a little bit. As that'll be ball four to Sesdewicki, who's going to reach base twice in his first inning. And here's Bobby Woodward, who doubled his first time, and now he's got the bases loaded, trying to break the game wide open if it hasn't already for CHBR. This does remind me, though, of a time where there was a series between the Marlins and the Mariners in 2011, and there was a miscommunication between vendors, and there was a U2 concert that was to be held at what is now the Dolphins Hard Rock Stadium, but was then called Sun Life Stadium or something like that. And the Marlins couldn't play at Sun Life Stadium, their home field, because of the U2 concert. So, by the way, here's the pitch, little floater out towards first, and it'll go out of play on the Farwood Road. But the Mariners and the Marlins had to figure something out, so they played the 3 games between the Mariners and the Marlins in Seattle with Miami as the home team, or the Florida Marlins as the home team for all 3 games. So there was just this flock of Marlins fans that flew from Miami to Seattle, and basically it sounded like a Marlins home game, but it wasn't even in Miami. It was backwards. This is how this game feels, basically. There's a ground ball back up the middle. That's going to be a diving stop, but it'll go into center field. 1 run scores. The throw to the plate is going to be short, and a 2-run single for Bobby Woodward makes it 8-0 CHBR, an absolute barrage in their 12 batter go around this inning. As now Justin Sesdewicki, who walked his first time, and I think Submarinian is ready to go, so Dustin Bellis will be relieved. It'll be a Proles printing pitching change very early here in the bottom of the first, as the scoreboard will tell a story, and as they say, a picture says 1,000 words, but a scoreboard can tell 1,000,000. It'll be Jack Submarinian of Haddonfield Memorial High School coming in here in the bottom of the first. It's 8-0 CHBR. We'll be right back in just a minute here after the pitching change. Here in the bottom of the first, it's 8-0 CHBR. They've got the bases loaded, and we've got already a pitching change as Dustin Bellis has been relieved after 2/3 of an inning, and Jack Subramanian of Haddonfield High School is now going to be pitching here in the bottom of the first. And I don't know if he's used to this field, because even though he is from Haddonfield and is a Bulldog himself in terms of on the high school diamond, he's used to playing on the field behind us at Russ Spicer. But since they're playing at the Farwood Fields tonight, could obviously be a little different. But it is 2-0. As Justin says, Tawicki is up. He is the 13th batter of the first inning, as we have had an absolute offensive barrage. But this isn't one of those games that I'm going to wave the white flag and say is over, in the first inning, because this ballpark is very short and a lot of things could happen to where, we could have a comeback with Haddonfield. But who knows, honestly, who knows? Anything can really happen. This is just seems like a bad night for Haddonfield, and it's only the first inning. So, I mean, we started the game at 6:05-ish, 6:10, and it's 6:40 now, so we've been going on for about 30 minutes and not even done the first inning. So if you want to get all 7 innings in before the sun sets, you better hope that we have ourselves a quick next couple of innings. But that was ball 4, so excuse me, that there was no runner on first base. So now the bases are loaded for Julian Costa, batter number 14. I mean, as soon as the inning started with the home run from Sean Sesdewicki, I had a feeling that this was going to be one wild ride, but I was not expecting an 8-run first to be the result. But alas, that's where we are. So it's 1-0 to Costa. That one misses way outside. I feel like like I said, Haddonfield is used to this mound because they play here. This is where their home games are. But it's a matter of, I don't know if I've ever really seen anything like this before, where it's not a matter of these guys not playing defense or these guys just not playing well. It's the offense. The offense is just so good, and it seems like the pitchers are having a hard time locating. I don't know if their hands are getting sweaty because of the heat. Like we said, it's 88 degrees outside, and that is going to be a 4-pitch walk to Costa, bringing in another run, and it's 9-0. You just got to imagine, I mean, it's tough if you're in this situation where you just keep giving up runs and runs and runs. The outfielders got to stretch their legs because they've been out here for, 20, 25 minutes straight. These long innings just take a toll, and it usually progresses over into when they're batting because they haven't had the time to rest. They've just been standing there in the outfield relentlessly. That's a first pitch foul. 0-1. I mean, I just don't know if I've ever really seen anything like this before. Especially in a league like this. I mean, these teams are two, I wouldn't say 100% evenly matched, but they're decently competitive. CHBR 12-5, Haddonfield 7-6. So it's not like these teams are worlds apart. I think it's just a matter of, who's got the upper hand, and I think it's pretty obvious who's got the upper hand, at least early. Here's a little floater, left center field. That's going to drop, make that double digits. 1 run will score. Here comes the throw to the plate. It will be off the target. Catcher couldn't make the play in time, and now it is a very solid 11-0. CHBR. Wow. So that's a 2 RBI single from Schweitzer, as they're now already halfway around the second go in the order. I mean, you've got to imagine there's so I'll flash back a little bit here. In May, we did a game between Pensgrove, which was a team that went 1-15, or I'm sorry, 2-15. They went 2-15 in the regular season for baseball, and they missed the playoffs in South Jersey Group 1, and they they played Gloucester, which had gotten knocked out the day before by Haddon Township in the first round. And it was 24-0, and it was like a 10-run first inning, 14-run second inning, and then nobody else scored because it just went so quickly after the second inning. So maybe if the game just keeps getting out of hand, maybe something like that will happen. But you've got to imagine the sense of urgency by CHBR is kind of out the window because they've already got all the runs that they need to kind of block anything other than a miracle comeback. So, you know, who knows? But I haven't seen anything like this before in anything other than a, you know, high school barn burner. That one misses. Count is 3-2. Grounder foul over towards the Haddonfield dugout. The first three for Haddonfield when this inning is over is going to be Tedeschi, Luca Marinucci, and Justin Figueroa. So that's where it'll be here as the sun is starting to poke through again. Just about 6:45 p.m. here from Haddonfield. There's a fly ball hit out towards right, straight away. And that'll hit a tree and over towards some fans there on the lawn chairs. Don't forget, DWB will be covering the American Legion District from the Belmar Rec Center from Saturday, July 15th and Sunday, July 16th. 3 games all told. Big thanks to Bill Gore for having me cover those games. And then our next TCBL game will be Friday, July 14th between the Haddonfield Rough Riders and the Camden Ball Club. So, inning over and a grand total of, oh boy, let me count this up real quick. Let me unlock my phone. We've got 10 and then, yeah, that's 16 batters that came up to the plate. 11 of them scored. CHBR will take the field again. We'll take a quick break and a sip of water, maybe a rest stop to stretch our legs. We go to the second, 11-0, CHBR third base. Here from Farwood Field, home of the Haddonfield Rough Riders. The difference is that Haddonfield is a visiting team today, as Jared Vanderster is going to get back to work after a very, very long bottom of the first inning. 11 runs scored for CHBR. They had 16 men come up to the plate, and the first for Haddonfield in the top half will be John Tedeschi, the second baseman. He'll be followed by Luca Marinucci, the third baseman, and Justin Figueroa, the catcher, here in the second inning. From Farwood Field. That one's upstairs. And of course, with a game like this, with a situation like this, CHBR, they needed to get the runs early. I don't think they wanted the doubt of a division title hanging over their heads. Like we said, Rough Riders needed to lose, and CHBR needed to win. Now, the Rough Riders game is going to start at 7 at Alcyon Park, so we won't know the score of that game until this game is wrapped up, unless that game goes otherworldly, fast. But on the inside, I mean, Vanderster, it's not like he had a clean first inning either. He walked 3 and got the rest out, but the difference is that you've got an 11-run lead to deal with now, so that's going to be walk number 4. So Tedeschi is on base, as now this will bring up Marinucci, third baseman. To Marinucci, fouled back. They've got that low-hanging net behind the plate that kind of catches those foul balls, and I've never been a huge fan of those. I mean, at least with the Russ Spicer Diamond, it's high enough behind home plate. I mean, if you've watched any Haddonfield games that I've broadcast before, the difference is that you've got a here we go, throw it down to second base. It's going to be in time. No. I thought it got him, but maybe a bit of a sympathy call. Did you see that? The second baseman and the guy who just stole second had a nice fist bump. I mean, I'm not mocking that. I think that's great. Sportsmanship is always great, no matter what level of ball you're playing. But I just thought that was funny. What's inside? Yeah, Vanderster's really throwing inside a lot. I don't know if he's trying to cut the zone a little bit and try to play his cards to his advantage, but I think it's just a matter of whether you're out there or not, just trying to throw strikes or avoid base runners. It seems like he's doing neither. That's walk number 5. We've had some crazy games before, and I don't know, crazier things have happened. But Haddonfield is now going to have the ball in their court with Justin Figueroa now. This broadcast is brought to you in part by DJK Roofing, South Jersey's #1 roofing supplier with over 200 5-star reviews on the web. Get a free quote today by calling 856-778-3900. Again, that's 856-778-3900. There's a strike. 0-2. Vanderster looks back at second. And the pitch. Strike 3 on the outside corner. Get no breaks there. And that will bring up Scott Diggerlomo. Let me actually check the Tri-County website, make sure I'm saying that right. But because like I said, a lot of coaches in baseball have what I like to call doctor's handwriting. But here comes another throw down to second base. That one is going to be offline. It's going to skip into center field. Haddonfield. Here comes the runner from third. The throw to the plate is going to be wide. That one goes to the backstop. Going to third, and getting in there is going to be Marinucci. And Haddonfield is on the board in possibly the most chaotic way possible. It's 11-1. That's kind of a classic example of hold on to the baseball. Don't worry about where it's going. Just hold on to it. Take your time. Make sure that you're that's crazy. That is crazy. So here is Joey Tedeschi. There's John Tedeschi and there's Joey Tedeschi. One's inside to Joey. That one misses. So Scott Digger Olamo from St. Joe's. That's how I thought I was saying it, but you know, on deck is Joey Tedeschi of Haddonfield Memorial, and that one will miss. That'll put runners on first and third here. As now this will be Joey Tedeschi, so Digger Lomo just walked. One out here in the top of the second. Haddonfield trails CHBR 11-1. But as I said, with how the baseball's been played today, anything could happen. We could have both teams have a wildly inconsistent inning, and then maybe it levels out and we go back to square one. Maybe that's how we roll, but I just haven't seen anything like this in a while. You have all types of baseball being played in the Tri-County Leagues. And as we said, Rough Riders and Camden, that'll be Friday, 6 p.m. from the Camden Athletic Complex. Runner goes, swing and a miss. Throw down to second is going to be in plenty of time, and he got him there. But the run came across to score, so it's 11-2. I've seen that strategy many times in video games, and I've seen it on the baseball diamond a couple of times. Runner goes down to second. The ball's already at the other end of the infield, so the runner from third breaks and scores. So, yeah, now 11-2 in favor of CHBR, but 2 outs versus Tedeschi. It's now going to be I believe it's going to be 2-strike count. At least what I heard, but yeah, it should be 1 and 2. I could be completely wrong on that though. That's what I heard from the umpire. Okay, that's ball 4. So all 3 of us were wrong. The scoreboard was wrong, I was wrong, and everybody was wrong. So now here is Dustin Bellis back at the top of the order with the runner on first. Somebody give that dog a bone. He's outside 1-0. It's one of the great soundscapes of just a quiet baseball game. Not too many fans yim-yammering and some dog in the background, somebody walking their dog. I saw somebody walking around here earlier. Just kind of walking their dog, hanging out, had earbuds in. It's kind of the way we roll. You can hear the birds. Somebody in the batting cages behind us, they're hitting off the tee. Like that. Right on cue. That one, wow, strike call. Looked like it was on the outside corner, but 1 and 2. We'll see what they can muster here. Haddonfield's already got 2 runs in the top half of the second. See if Vanderster is really back in the groove. Oh, they threw it over to first, and they got him on the pickoff. So a premature way to end the inning, but Haddonfield gets picked off to retire the side, but they get 2 runs home. We go to the bottom of the second, 11-2 CHBR. Bottom of the second inning, CHBR with a healthy lead over Haddonfield, 11-2. That one misses outside from Submarinian to start the bottom half. Here's a ground ball hit out towards short, picked up, and throw to first is in time, 1 down. So after 16 batters in the first inning, we've already got 2 pitches and an out. That's the way baseball plays, though. That's what I love about it, you know? It doesn't have a clock. It has, or at least at this level of play, doesn't have a clock. So, you know, really, you can roll with anything. So, just kind of works that way. It's how this game works. I mean, our recording has been going for 58 minutes. Almost 59, but it's just the way we've been rolling. It's just the beautiful part of the game. I remember back in May, I did 2 games back to back. It was Buna and Cinnaminson on May 16th, and then the day before that was Audubon and West Deptford on May 15th, and it was. The game versus West Deptford was the longest game that I had broadcast that season. 3 hours and 19 minutes was the length of that game. And then the day after that was Buna and Cinnaminson, which was the shortest broadcast of the year at 1 hour and 44 minutes. So you can really have the best of both worlds when it comes to how fast or slow your broadcast can be. I mean, we had our Gartons versus CHP game that was maybe 2 hours 15 minutes. You know, pretty standard for the time with a 7-inning game. But I think it's also standard that, you know, like the way you're seeing this now, an 11-run first inning followed up with Haddonfield getting a couple back. Can really just depend on how you're playing as a team. And
any idea what the fence is set at? Any idea what the fence is? 300. What's that? 300.
Swing and a miss. There's a strikeout for Submarinian, and there's going to be 2 down. So 2 up, 2 down for CHBR.
Oh, I didn't know. Sorry.
So yeah, we were just hearing some back and forth there. Apparently the fence is 300 feet to center, which I did not know, but I thought it was shorter than that. He incorporated it into his call. Yeah, my mic travels far. It does. It does. It really does. That is funny, though. So 2 down, and CHBR having a rather quiet second inning with a ground out and a strikeout. That's a swing and a foul tip. 1 ball, 2 strikes here with 2 down. To Yui, and that's a bullet foul. Wow. Thank God they're behind a fence. That's great. So after Yui will be the catcher Colin Kind, and then after that will be Sezdowicki, who hit a home run earlier in the ball game to lead off the bottom of the first, actually. And the pitch outside. Two balls and 2 strikes to Aiden Yui. Number 9 hitter here for CHBR, and it's a ground ball. That's going to skip out to third, and they couldn't get the play, and making an acrobatic roll at first will be Yui. Did that get on the film? I think it did. Yeah, wow. That was a chaotic play, to say the least. The shortstop bounced off of his foot or shin or whatever, and then the third baseman picked it up, being Marinucci, made the throw, but just not in time. So that will still count as a base hit, which CHBR right now has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hits which is a lot less than I would have thought. 6 hits on 11 runs is usually the exception, not the norm. But that one goes to the backstop. What a rebound from second base, and he got him. That's some Joe Mauer stuff right there. He rebounded the ball off of the backstop and got the out. How about that? This has been the craziest baseball game I've ever broadcasted in my life. We go to the top of the third, 11-2 CHBR over Haddonfield. Top of the third here from the home of the Bulldogs, although, again, the Bulldogs are the visiting team today, thanks to Folke Field having their facilities kind of rained out a little bit from last night and the showers that came over there. But it's 11-2 here in the top of the third. CHBR got 11 in the bottom half of the first, including a home run from Sesdowicki, but now Haddonfield is starting to claw back a little bit. They've gotten 2 runs. That one is outside. So 1-2. So after Bellis, his at-bat was cut short to end the second inning because of the pickoff at first base. That was inside. Oh, did it hit him? They called dead ball. I don't know what that was all about. Yeah. I think they might have called time because I think it hit the catcher in a weird spot. Yeah, you could see. Kind of, no, I don't know. I don't know what the. Oh, okay. So they're just going to throw a couple warm-up pitches, or just one warm-up pitch to make sure that Kind is okay, and appears to be. So that'll be where the story ends. So here we go. Pitch to Bellis, outside, 3-2. Swing and a foul tip. Bellis is retired. 1 down. Vanderster with a grand total of half a dozen strikeouts in this one. So here is AJ Tropiano, center fielder. He struck out his first time. Tropiano Varsi GC. Well, here's a fly ball out towards shallow right. This one is going to be caught in right. Nice play out there by Justin Sestowicki, and there's 2 down. So that'll bring up Nick Turnage. Turnage batting .400 in his 2023 campaign, 10 for 25, 1 double, an OPS of .940, 5 walks and 5 stolen bases as well. So that would make sense as to why he's third in the order here. Upstairs, 1-1. Swing and a foul. 1-2. Two to Turnage. And the pitch from Vanderster is going to be outside, and Vanderster lost his hat. I saw this happen one time. There was a kid. It's not Otto Carlos Ramirez. It was another kid. Now I got to look it up. He was from Highland Regional High School, and he was a freshman. And we were covering stuff for BFA Sports. It was Highland and Mainland that were playing against each other down at Summers Point at I think it was Faylerfield. Faylerfield. But yeah, so we were down there, and there was this pitcher, and his hat, like he had such a bushy afro on his head that his hat wouldn't fit. So every pitch he threw, the hat just flew off. Landed in front of him, landed behind him, landed to the side of him. He had to pick up his hat every single time. But Haddonfield's going to have to pick up the offense after another strikeout. Vanderster has 7. We go to the bottom of the third, 11-2 CHBR. Here in the bottom of the third, 11-2, CHBR leads handily over the Haddonfield Bulldogs. They scored 11 in the first inning, but things have been rather stagnant since. As the first pitch, going to be way up and inside. Almost got him in the noggin, but to Colin Kine, who had the at-bat to start or rather to end the bottom of the second when his teammate got cut down, stealing second base. But Submarinian Force is a swing and miss, and it is 1-1. This broadcast is brought to you by Pearlie's Printing and Bantles, Banners, and Signs, the one-stop shop for all your print and promotional needs. Over 50 years in business and over a 5-star Google rating, your go-to shop for graduation, lawn signs, banners, A-frames, flyers, and envelopes, everything of that sort. Check them out today. Pearlie's Printing and Bantles, Banners, and Signs. There's a foul ball, and it's 2-2. Of course, with the sun being behind the clouds now, it's made things a little bit different with the weather. It doesn't feel like 88 degrees anymore. It doesn't feel like the sun is beaming down on you. It's definitely a nice, little bit of relief, but that's where we stand, 2-2. It'll be Kind, says to Wiki, and Woodward. As here's a fly ball out to right, and it is going to just drop short of the fence. The grass kind of killed it out there. The throw to second is going to airmail the middle infield, and it will be a double for Colin Kind. So nice shot there into the right center field gap, was able to get it done. And now Scott says to Wiki, we'll be up here with a runner on second and nobody out. So a double to lead off the bottom of the third. They'll have a substitute runner over at second, considering that Kind is the catcher, so they'll reevaluate a little bit there. But runner on second, nobody out, and CHBR trying to extend their lead even further than what they've already done. This is the thing with, this kind of level of baseball. You never know what you're going to get. Anything can really happen. We had this American Legion game between Washington Township and Brooklawn that was, it was quite weird. Brooklawn went up 8-0. They just kept scoring and scoring and scoring. Then the offense kind of stopped, and then Washington Township got back into it. The final score was 12-10, and the game was called after the top of the sixth due to darkness. So, which is very well what we could have tonight. It's already 7:18. Been going on for over an hour, and it's only the bottom of the third, and that'll move the runner over to third. So a 2-1 count. One's outside. 3-1. There's a strike, 3-2. Swing and a miss. Submarinian gets the strikeout. And that will bring up Woodward, who doubled. Doubled his first time in the first inning. First pitch is a strike. Second strikeout for Submarinian. As Woodward of Immaculata University, batting .423 with 1 homer, 7 doubles, 12 RBIs, and a quite impressive OPS of 1.379. That slugging percentage really helping out there. Slugging percentage of .808. 3 walks, just 3 strikeouts and 26 at-bats. Here's a ground ball out towards third, and it will be picked up. Throw to first is not in time. That was a rather lackadaisical play over at third. So Marinucci will have to reevaluate that one, because I understand you're down by 9 runs, but you got to be a little more alert on that. He trapped the ball, picked it up, but you got to fire it across the diamond. you know, who cares if it's a little offline? Your first baseman's quite a tall fella in Hartman. I think you've got to make that throw because Woodward wouldn't have beat it out otherwise. So, runners on the corners and a 1-0 count to Justin Stesdowicki. There's a strike. And the funny thing about all of this is that there's technically no errors on Haddonfield. There's 2 on CHBR, but here's a fly ball out towards right center field. It's hit well, going back. It is going to be caught in center. Tagging from third will be Stesdowicki, or excuse me, Kind, and that will make it 12-2 on the sacrifice fly. That was deep in right center field. I mean, you can't get much better than that, and you know, with a ballpark that's 300 to center field, could have a lot of home runs flying. So here's Justin Costa. For the second out, as that one is crushed, and Costa with a long ball to deep right center field. Justin Costa on the first pitch extends the lead, the second homer of the day for CHBR, and it is 14-2. Wow. Can't get much better than that. I mean, wow. So Justin Costa of Westchester University with his first homer of the season. So again, now 14-2 as CHBR has played 3 runs in this inning. On the 2-run shot. See, that ball to right center by Justin Stesdowicki was close enough to being a home run. This one was for sure a long ball, but that's the second home run of the day for CHBR from Scott Stesdowicki in the first, and then Justin Costa in the third. So now here is Rob Schweitzer. Ground ball out to first, and that's going to be an error on the first baseman as, wow, that ball just died out in right field. I don't know if you saw that on camera, but the first baseman, Hartman, had the ball go through his legs, and then it just absolutely came to a screeching halt down the right field line. Never seen anything like that before. I mean, I have, but it's crazy. So that'll be an E3 on Schweitzer. And here's Dipper. He is 0 for 1 technically because he was hit by a pitch in the first, and then he struck out his second time around to end the first inning after 16 batters. Oh, that one got him right in the knee. Wow. And he was ticked off about it too. He slammed his bat down to the ground. So here is Ebling. And he's gonna have to walk that one off because that's not a fun place to get hit. I've been hit, you know, in the ankle a couple times and had a couple bone bruises when I played. It's not pretty, and getting hit on the kneecap like that just, that hurts. And I've had a dislocated kneecap before. Last year, I was playing junior league or senior league baseball, whatever we call it, for Mount Ephraim, and we were practicing, and it was in the mud. You know, it was kind of poor field conditions, and it had just rained like the morning of, so. I was taking some BP, and of course my feet, my cleats were half soaked in this mud from the rain, and I took like maybe 5 good swings. I was getting a hang of it, and then I just took one awkward swing, kneecap shifts 4 inches to the left. So that was not a fun day, but I remember what I was most upset about was not the fact that I was missing out on the junior league season, it was the fact that I would be missing the baseball broadcast the next day. And the worst part is that it was 15 minutes into the first practice of the season. So I tried playing baseball again, but the baseball gods were obviously telling me not to take the field. But I mean, hey, I've still got all my equipment. I can still hit. Not very good, but I can still hit. I've been to the batting cages a couple times in recent months, but that one's going to be another hit by pitch. Back to back. Dipper and Ebling both drilled. And this is going to bring up Elias here for CHBR. Elias Philipposian with the bases loaded. And 2 outs. He walked and struck out his first time, or his first 2 times up. That one will be a ball. I mean, I did hear a couple months ago that they were, with the help of Nolan Ryan as an investor, they're going to open in Texas this sort of Topgolf baseball style kind of entertainment place where it's kind of like glorified batting cages, which I think is great. I mean, think about it this way. There are pro bowlers, and there's the PBA, but there's so many bowling alleys around. You can just, you know, have fun on a Saturday night, get a pitcher of whatever you want to drink, and, you know, just huck a 12-pound ball down a lane and watch wood pins go flying. But it's the same thing with golf, and it's why Topgolf is so successful. There's one over in Mount Laurel, and I think there's one over in Philly as well. But you know, I've been there a couple times. I would have never wanted to play golf. I play mini golf. That's about it. I would have never wanted to swing a golf club. But when Topgolf came around, you know, it made golf accessible and entertaining because you've got like the Angry Birds game. You've got all these like, you know, funny games that make it accessible to the average consumer. And that's why I think that's good for baseball too, with the batting cages. If you've, I know the Phillies a couple of years ago, they had this exhibit where they would actually have you put on this VR headset and you'd take like this plastic wiffle ball bat and there would be a home run derby. It would look like you're actually in the stadium. Oh wow, outside corner, strike 3, and CHBR is going to leave the bases loaded, but not without leaving their mark. A long homer to right center off the bat of Costa gives a 3-run inning a close for CHBR. We go to the top of the 4th, 14-2. The third base club leads handily over Haddonfield. We'll go to break. Here in the top of the 4th, CHBR leads Haddonfield 14-2 as Vanderster still back out there. By the way, thanks to Frankie Ebling for bringing me the water bottle. I packed a water bottle for my producer, but not for myself. So, and our league organizer, Bill Kohut, just picked up the Justin Costa home run ball, or the excuse me. There's a ground ball out to third and foul. So. Yeah, 8 men came up to the plate for CHBR. By the way, new pitcher, speaking of Frankie Ebling, here is Frankie Ebling. He's now pitching. He's like the two-way mastermind of this league. Not only is he batting .400 at the plate, but he's also got a sub-4 ERA on the mound. So maybe not quite Ohtani levels, but maybe Rick Ankiel or Adam Lowen, you know, other famous two-way players. As here's a line drive out to straightaway center, and it's going to drop. It'll drop out there in front of the center fielder, Aiden Huey. And Haddonfield will have a runner on. So I did confirm with Bill that there is no 5-inning mercy rule. Just may depend on who is, how long the sun stays up. I mean, right now it's below the clouds, but it's still 7:30, so we probably have about an hour to play. That's a strike, 0-1. So runner on first, and nobody out here to lead off the top of the fourth. By the way, let's get the trivia time out of the way. It's going to be time for DWB trivia time, as that one is outside. Usually not when I do this, but I did, I'll be honest, I forgot. So we'll go to that. Today's question is, the designated hitter, which was originally only used for American League teams, was adopted in what year? Is it A, 1901, B, 2004, C, 1945, or D, 1973? The answer will be revealed in the bottom of the fourth inning. Or if you're watching the tape delay, you could fast forward to the bottom of the fourth and get the answer that way. But in the real world, we're not at that time yet. That one's downstairs, and it's, I believe it's either 2-1 or 3-1 to batter here for Haddonfield in a 12-run lead for CHBR. So Hartman walked, and now swing and a miss by Bonifiglia, and it's going to be a full count. This broadcast is brought to you by Garden State Pet Center, a independently owned full-service pet store on White Horse Pike in Audubon, open 7 days a week for all your pets' needs. Visit them at exoticpetsnj.com or, again, at their location on 226 White Horse Pike in Audubon, open 7 days a week. One down after the strikeout, first strikeout for Ebling, and Vanderster ends the day with 7 strikeouts in his 3 innings of work. And honestly, with the lead that you have, you know, you can kind of get a little bit more creative with your pitching choices and, you know, be a bit more conservative, maybe throw somebody out there who hasn't really had a litany of experience before in TCBL action. But it is interesting, though, you know, to see all that out there. There's a strike. That one misses. Little floater center field. That one is going to, oh wow, that's going to go to the shortstop, or the second baseman rather, and they'll get the fielder's choice. So Hartman is retired, and there's 2 down. That was completely deceiving off the bat. It looked like it was going to go into center field, and then it ended up just dying right in the infield, and it went to the shortstop. So now this is going to bring up John Tedeschi. Or excuse me, no, Luca Marinucci. With 2 outs. Here's a fly ball out to right field, and that one will be taken in to retire the side. Pretty quick work there as we go to the bottom of the fourth after the play by Justin Sesdewicki. It's a still solid lead for CHBR, 14-2 after 3.5. We'll be right back. Here in the bottom of the fourth, it's time for DWB Trivia Time, and today's question is, the designated hitter rule that was originally only for American League teams was adopted in what year? Was it A, 1901, B, 2004, C, 1945, or D, 1973? Vince, what's your guess?
Ooh, that's tough. I'm going with D.
Going with D, 1973. Well, you'd be correct. You're 2 for 2 so far. The answer is D, 1973. Now, here we go. That's a drive to deep left, and it is long gone. Home run. CHBR. Their third of the day. An absolute moonshot. That was absolutely crushed. There was no doubt about it. And CHBR has been putting an absolute tear on the baseball today, making it 15-2. Again, with their third homer of the day, this time off the bat of Yui. And, man, that might have been a celebration horn right there. But, wow, Aiden Yui, what a shot. And it is 15-2. Here's Colin Kind. That one's downstairs. By the way, here we go. Oh, we got him. Right back to the mound. So fast it didn't even register in my head. Wow. Holy cannoli. That was nice. By the way, new pitcher for Haddonfield, that being Chris Bonifiglia. I didn't even have time to introduce him because of how quick that home run came off the bat. There's a swing and a miss. I think that's the second time this year we've had a home run in the middle of our trivia time. The first one was an inter squad with Audubon. Thought that was kind of funny with with how that went along, because we had something along the lines where it was Scott Lynch was up and it was the top of the fourth inning, and he already had a home run earlier in the game and then hit a grand slam at 6 RBIs in the inter squad. Of course, now he's headed over to Sacred Heart University to be the quarterback of their football team for the Division I FCS football club. I'll say football club, football team, whatever. This is American football we're talking about. But speaking of football clubs, and as us Americans know it, soccer, make sure to stay tuned on September 9th and October 14th as the Delran Bears will have 2 DWB features, one on the 9th versus Hunterdon Central and one on October 14th versus St. Augustine and the Hermits. Make sure to check that out on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting for some early Saturday morning soccer features from Delran, one of the top soccer clubs in the state. That one goes to the backstop. Everybody's going to hold up there. That one misses. Oh, there's a fly ball. Deep and going back. Oh, he leaped over the fence. He couldn't make the play, but that's a home run. And it is the 4th of the game for CHBR. That might be the biggest standout effort I've ever seen to try to reel in a home run ball. It's the 4th of the game, and Bobby Woodward, who had a home run, or rather had a double in the first, now adds a long ball to the resume, as it is now 17-2 as, oh my goodness, wow. What a game this has been. I mean, Joey Tedeschi out in left field could get player of the game just for that right there. I mean, that fence, it's not like you can just hop over it. It's a good 4 or 5 feet tall, probably maybe 4 feet tall. Still, the fact that you can just dive over that fence. If he made the play, I would have submitted that to Sports Center immediately. Like, that was, man, so close. But yeah, 17-2 here, and there's a fly ball out in the infield. That'll be taken in by Hartman. Wow. So 2 down. So here is now Costa. That one misses. And Costa walks. Swing and a miss. 0-1 to Schweitzer. Two down and a runner on first here in a 17-2 ball game. Upstairs. After this would be Dipper and then Frank Ebling. If the inning continues, though, could get shut down by Bonifiglia. There's a swing and a miss. Yeah, Haddonfield trails by 15, but this game has still been interesting, you know? Like, I think the 11-run first inning was a bit of a dud because of all the walks, but this has been home runs and just pure domination. As the runner's going to take second base here on defensive indifference. So I just love how he just came in off camera and was just like literally walking to second base. But that's what defensive indifference is. It doesn't count as a stolen base. And here's a little floater, shallow center field. That drops. And a bit of a miscommunication out there. Holding it third is going to be Costa. And now, after the base hit by Schweitzer, it'll now be Dipper. So runners on the corners and two down. Dipper, who's been plunked twice in this one, has had a rather unlucky game, but now he's going to have his own stroke of luck with an RBI single to left, and it's now 18-2. So Rob Dipper getting himself his piece of the pie. Or excuse me, Ryan Dipper, and here's Frank Ebling. So here's Frankie Ebling. That one misses. Runners on first and second, 2 down. Foul back. Make sure to tune in when DWB kicks off its high school football schedule with the Cherry Hill East Cougars and the Triton Mustangs at 6 p.m. on Friday, August 26th, live on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. That'll be our first of at least a dozen high school football games this fall. We've got 2 Paulsboro games scheduled, including Audubon and Paulsboro on October 21st, as that one is upstairs and inside. Here's a fly ball, right center field. Could this be number 5? It will be. It's a 3-run homer. Oh my goodness, they've done it again. CHBR with their 5th home run of the game. This time off the bat of Frankie Ebling as he goes yard, and I believe it is now 21-2. That is the 5th home run of the game. All 5 homers have been from the CHBR side, and my scorebook, I don't know if my pen might start running out soon. I mean, this is unprecedented for Tri-County baseball. But even CHBR, they've got an arm warming up down the first base line as well. So that'll be something down there. We'll see if maybe somebody is in to relieve Ebling. Here's a line drive to left. That's a base hit. See, this game doesn't feel as much of like a slow, dragging game because everybody's getting hits. Not a lot of walks. Nobody's walked, or I'm sorry, one guy has walked in this inning. But there's been homer after homer after homer. Like we said, 5 home runs in the ball game. And now the Haddonfield infield meeting up here. I mean, as you can see with where everything is outside, if we zoom out here, the sun, it's getting a little low there, below the fence. It's not bad yet, but very well could be as we go along, so. (21-2). Yeah, I've had a couple 20-something games in my broadcasting career. 24-0 Penns Grove versus Gloucester, with Gloucester being the winner in that one. I've had a game Audubon and Sterling that was 20-1. They had another game, I'm trying to think, Gateway and Audubon was 22-4, but I wasn't there for that. Fly ball. First pitch popped up, and that will go out of play onto Farwood Road. I mean, this is still entertaining, even with the score that it is, because of all the home runs. The difference between a blowout that's boring and a blowout that's not boring is the amount of offense. If the pitchers just can't throw strikes and they're walking in runs, that's when you get into the really bad blowout territory. But this is like some sort of chaotic good or chaotic neutral sort of blowout where the offense is good, but it's very one-sided. And that's going to be an E5. It's going to get away, and Elias will reach first safely, or excuse me, that is Aiden Huey. So now Colin Kind will bat again. Remember, Kind struck out his first time this inning. This is the second time that CHBR has batted around in this game. And remember, they had 16 batters in the first inning. Haddonfield is, or rather CHBR has scored 7 runs here in the fourth. They've had 11 in the first, none in the second, had 3 in the third, and then 7 in the fourth. And now they've got 2 on. But if there's any optimism, there is 2 outs. So anything can really happen in regards to how this is approached. But the pitch, the inside. That's walked. So kind walks and the bases are loaded for Sesdewicki, Scott Sesdewicki, who homered in the first inning. This is one of those games where I'm very conflicted about it because it's, I mean, we were saying after the first inning that it could go either way. We were saying after the first that it could go either way, and that it, could, maybe if CHBR scored 11 in the first, Haddonfield might get some, kind of spark and score a whole bunch, but I haven't seen that yet. So, and we are running out of time. I mean, the sun is now starting to go behind the trees, so our time is limited. It's 7:53, probably only about a half hour to maybe even 20 minutes left. CHBR just might want to set a high score and go home, I think Haddonfield has kind of already laid down and acknowledged that they're probably not going to come back from 19 down, so kind of make the best of it. Because remember, in the TCBL, everybody makes the playoffs no matter what, even if you're like 0-13, which nobody in the league is 0-13, but maybe even some teams with less than favorable records like Burlington Township or Delran, or even the South Jersey Grizzlies, they are still going to make the playoffs. It's a best of 3. The only difference is that the top 4 teams make the bye and get into the second round uncontested. So that's the main difference. But Sesdewicki is going to pop this one up foul. So everybody's in the playoffs. So no matter what happens today, it's not going to knock Haddonfield out. But I think it's just interesting that we've had this kind of, discourse for a while about how good CHBR has been and the fact that they're the surprise team in the TCBL this year, as there is a rocket. That one's headed deep into the trees and on the Farwood Road. Just don't hit the DWB mobile out there down the first base line. We've already had a couple of dents this year from Audubon players. One from a wild throw and one from a foul ball. So foul ball you can't control, but the errant throw you can. Breaking ball inside and the side is retired. But CHBR puts up 7 runs on the board, and after another pair of home runs, it is now 21-2 after 4. We'll be right back. Top of the 5th inning, the scoreboard says 1,000 words. It's 21-2 in favor of CHBR. They scored 11 runs in the first inning, 3 in the third, and now 7 in the fourth, as they have blown this. They blew this game wide open after Scott Sesdowicki hit that home run in the first inning. But it has been a wild fest so far in this one. 5 home runs from the CHBR side. They've had almost one from half of everybody in their lineup. Sesdowicki led off the ball game with one in the bottom of the first. There was also one from from Costa in the bottom of the third, and then there were 2 in the bottom of the fourth with Aiden Huey and the center fielder and Bobby Woodward as well. So it's been a crazy night, but we'll see if it gets even crazier with Haddonfield and basically what will be their last stand before the darkness sets upon us. I mean, as you can see, there's really not a whole lot of you just look there, it's decently dark, and going around here just starting to kind of set in a little bit, but that's a swing and a miss. Got the camera zoomed in just in time, I'll tell you that much. And there's one down as Ebling records a strikeout. First pitch is a strike. To Scott Digger-Lomo. Misses away. Ebling with 2 strikeouts in 2 innings of work. Only allowed 1 hit so far. Looks like an off speed, gets right in the zone. I mean, there's been home runs all over the place. Right field line, right center field, dead center, left center, and left. We even saw that great effort from Joey Tedeschi. That one misses outside. Eight o'clock just now. So we've been here for about, I mean, we got here at 5 o'clock before many of the players got here, so we've been here for 3 hours. Broadcast been going on for an hour 57, so we've been here for quite a while, but seems like the innings are finally starting to wind down a little bit in what has been a blowout. Strike 3 outside corner. Again, another questionable call, but Digger-Lomo down on strikes with back-to-back Ks for Ebling, and this will bring up Tedeschi. Swing and a miss. Got a foul tip, actually. So with Joey Tedeschi to left fielder, if the inning continues, Bellis would be next. Outside. So yeah, basically the story of this game has been Haddonfield got 2 runs in the top of the second. That's basically been it. And then for CHBR, 11 runs in the first, 3 in the third, and then 7 in the fourth. So it's been an offensive barrage. That one just missed too. I've seen some pitches in that spot called a strike, and it's been a bit all over the place. But in a 21-2 game, the strikes and balls are more arbitrary, if anything. The count doesn't really matter much. You just kind of want to go home a little bit, but up and in to Tedeschi. Count is full with 2 down. Inside, and that's ball 4. So Tedeschi walks, and that'll put a runner on first for Haddonfield. You're in the top of the 5th. As now, it doesn't look like Dustin Bellis, I'll tell you that much. Mystery man at the dish. We'll see if he takes a swing here. We'll see his jersey. Here's the first pitch from Ebling. One's outside. Yeah, Bellis, he was wearing a black helmet, and he was a righty at the dish, so. Here comes a throw down to second base, and it is going to be off the mark. Swinging a line drive. That is a fair ball down the left field line. Picked up, and coming in to score will be Tedeschi. And it's an RBI single off the bat of number 1. Who, again, I don't have on my roster, but that's going to make it 21-3. So as I like to put it whenever we have a game like this, CHBR with 3 touchdowns, 3 for 3 on the PATs, and then Haddonfield now with a field goal. Although we are getting closer and closer to the football season, about 8 weeks away from a kickoff on August 25th, so it'll be fun. What are they talking about here? I don't know. CHBR seemed to not like something. I don't know what it was, but popped up back behind the plate, and he would have had it, but it found its way on top of the net. And that's why I don't like those nets, because in any other ballpark, including professional ones, that would be a fair out caught by the catcher. But if the net is right above you, you can't catch a pop-up behind the plate, because then it's going to get stuck in the net. So you either have to go in front of the plate to get it, or just, you can't make the play at all. He would have had that easily at any other ballpark. There is a ground ball through the right side. That's a base hit in the right. Picked up, and getting in there to kind of save the day a little bit is CHBR's right fielder. So a base hit off the bat of, excuse me, that would be Tropiano. And now Bones Marciano coming out. He's talking to his man, Frankie Ebling. As now here's Turnage. 2 on, 2 outs. Haddonfield trying to make the best of it before we go home, as there's a first pitch foul ball. Don't forget, folks, our next broadcast will be Friday, July 14th, as the Haddonfield Rough Riders come to town versus the Camden Ball Club from the Camden Athletic Complex, home of Rutgers Camden Baseball. Make sure to check that out at 6 p.m. on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. It's the first game of 2 in a doubleheader, but we'll just be covering the first game at 6. That one misses outside. Looked like maybe a pitch out there, but it's 2-2. And that will retire the side. So a strikeout will end the top of the 5th inning, and we'll see what they end up going for. I think they're going to call it here. Actually, yeah, let's stay here because everybody's going to be coming out of both dugouts. So, yeah, that will do it. After just 5 innings, we're going to be done. 21-3 in favor of CHBR, and now they could be the ones to win the TCBL Central if the Rough Riders lose to CHP this evening from Alcyon Park. So stay tuned. We've got the player of the game interview coming up. I don't know who my pick would be because everybody did well. Everybody was hitting homers, and maybe Jared Vanderster would be the guy to call on for that. But that's what their people in the dugout just said. Rough Riders win the division, or Rough Riders lose, and they would be division champs. So we'll have to see. But right now, my pick is going to Bobby Woodward because he was 3 for 3, double, single, and a homer, and he's probably going to be the player of the game if we can get him. So we'll go to a quick break, and we'll be right back with our player of the game presented by Doug Does Anything. So we'll be right back. Garden State Pet Center is an independently owned full-service pet store. Our specialty is promoting companionship between people and animals by providing the healthiest product choices available, including all-natural foods, supplements that support and relieve health issues, and innovative products for pet parents. Our goal is to provide our customers with a relaxing environment, and while we're not striving to be the biggest store on the East Coast, we're striving to be the best. No other pet store will make you feel at home like we do. At Garden State Pet Center, we view pets as members of the family. We don't believe in fast, high-pressure sales, but instead matching up the right pet with the right owners, as you are making a lifelong commitment. Together with our team members, we would like your visit to our store to be both enjoyable and educational. Simply drop in and take a look around. View the birds, reptiles, small animals, toys, food, cages, and miscellaneous items. Learn of the services we have to offer and decide for yourself if this is the store you'd like to call your home away from home.
Victor Santucci, owner of Garden State Pet Center. Visit us today at 226 South Whitehorse Pike in Audubon, New Jersey. We're open 7 days a week for all of your pets' needs.
Ladies and gentlemen, the final here from Farwood Field is the CHBR third base 21 and Haddonfield 3. Quite an interesting game, but our player of the game, presented by Doug Does Anything, for the player that can do anything, is Bobby Woodward. This broadcast is brought to you by Doug Does Anything, your handyman in town for any need, no matter how big or small. Give Doug Does Anything a call, 856-412-0118. What a game. 3 for 3. Double, single, homer, and a walk. I mean, I would have given it to Vanderster, but we already interviewed Ethan Schaub, the pitcher of CHP, the last time we did a game, and felt like we would give the offense some love. I mean, going into your sophomore year at Immaculata, and just what a game it was. 11 runs in the first inning, and 5 home runs from the CHBR club. Overall, out there, how did you feel today?
Felt amazing. I was at North Carolina for work, and I actually drove back this morning, 7-hour ride.
Oh my God.
Didn't feel the greatest, but I thought I was going to catch. Bones said I was going to DH, so I felt good doing that.
Probably a bit lighter work, you know, like
yeah.
getting into work after that drive from Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
Geez, that is crazy. Yeah. So I mean, the 3 for 3 game, the double following up the home run from Scott Sesdewicki, seemed like the offense was just on fire tonight. And you guys have a chance if the Rough Riders lose, which that game is currently ongoing at Alcyon Park in Pittman. But if they lose, you guys already won. Then you have the TCBL Central Division. So for your team, how do they feel going into the playoffs?
I mean, we feel amazing. Everything's just clicking. Everyone's hitting, pitching well. We just feel awesome overall.
And it's good to hear, because you guys are having your best franchise season, you know, since CHBR was created in 2004. This is the best season they've ever had in terms of the record, and could be their first division title in over 10 years. So this would be a huge accomplishment for CHBR, and of course Bones Marciano to be able to pick up the legacy of his dad, Angelo Marciano, who's now the league commissioner, and now get yourself a very good playoff spot going into mid-July. It's going to be a very good spot. So overall, though, with how everything happened, you know, this game was supposed to be at Folk Field in Cherry Hill, and then got moved to here. So you guys had to adapt to a lot. And you know, what did you guys do out there that was just working so well, especially in that first inning?
I mean, kind of just doing our thing. Nothing really changed. Just pitch well, hit well. Can't really change much.
Well, I thought this game was going to be a lot more high scoring, because I saw Vanderster walked 3 in the first inning. He walked 5 in his course of 3 innings. And then, you know, as the game went along, it just seemed like the game was getting more and more one-sided, when I thought it was going to be like, you know, 12-12 or something like that. It really looked like it was going to be a lot more even. But now that you guys got the win in order, now that you guys got basically the division in order, depending on how the Rough Riders do tonight versus CHP, you guys are in a good position going forward. You guys have a couple of games left in the regular season. What's your approach going to be?
Just stick to our approach. Don't really change anything. Just hit fastballs. Just do our thing.
That's great to hear. Thank you, Bobby. You're the player of the game, presented by Doug Does Anything, and we are going to sign off the broadcast for now, so make sure to tune in on Friday, July 14th, for coverage of more Tri-County baseball between Camden and the Rough Riders from the Rutgers-Camden Athletic Complex on Friday, July 14th at 6 p.m. From everybody here at Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, my graphics crew, Gavin Van Rel and Caleb Lane, my producer, Vincent Vogt, and myself, Dan Wilkins. Good night, everybody. The final score is 21-3 in favor of CHBR third base over the Haddonfield Dawgs. We'll see you Friday.